Hi everyone, I'm Michael Citron with the Citron Real Estate Group. I'm happy to be here in Heron Bay's clubhouse with Neil Vogel. Thank you so much for coming on our show on Ask Michael Monday. This is episode 51, and I thought it was really important to come here and ask Neil, who's now the new Heron Bay president of the association. There's a lot of things in store for change and lots of cool things that they're going to be doing here. So I thought it'd be important to come here. There's a lot of people that we deal business with. They ask us a lot of questions about Heron Bay. What's going on? What's new? What's the change that's going to happen here? So I thought I'd bring the head of the association to answer some questions. So Neil, wanted to kind of start with a question about the new management. We have a new management here in Heron Bay. Can you explain a little about the management company's name and how you guys chose to work with them?
Certainly. Thank you for having me. And
I appreciate it.
Welcome to Heron Bay.
Yeah.
We as a board have a management contract which was coming to closure with the incumbent. We decided on a very open, transparent process whereby every meeting was held in public, homeowners would have input. We conducted a series of 3 rounds of interviews, as well as doing our due diligence, probably spent 5 hours with each of the 8 applicants. And the board, as well as the homeowners who participated, unanimously selected KW Property Management to take Heron Bay to the next level in the development of our 20-year-old community. We believe very strongly they are the right partner to take Heron Bay to a new level to become one of the premier communities in South Florida. So the selection took place over the summer. The final vote was taken in September, and effective November 1st, KW is now the property manager of Heron Bay.
Yeah, people are already, the buzz online is already, they're doing a great job. There you look at that.
Well, we'll just keep.
This is what Facebook Live's all about. You never know what to expect. He's an important guy.
It's my wife.
Probably telling you to stand up straight or speak loud.
Thank you.
What changes can residents expect with the new management?
We're looking for very significant changes, both in the short term and long term. We're looking in the short term for rather dramatic cleanup of the community.
Okay.
Getting our act together, making sure that the residents receive value. The single greatest, as you know in real estate, the single greatest investment an individual makes is in their home.
Sure.
And we're trying to build upon the value proposition in Heron Bay to make it a desirable upscale community. And whether it's through our secure, we call it privacy, or our landscaping, this is an immense community. We have 3,000 homes, as you know, 10,000 residents. It's a mini city.
Correct.
And we want to bring this city to a new level, both in the short term and long term. From the short term perspective, since you asked, we have 2 clubhouses. And our goal is to do, in the short term, a cleanup, a makeover, probably flooring, furniture, walls, interior and exterior, pressure clean, make it look much more upscale. That's a short-term approach. Long-term is a reconsideration of the use of the facilities to meet the needs of the 10,000 residents, sure. And that'll probably be a reconfiguration. However, before we do anything, we're going to hold several community town forums, because we believe that the 7 members of the board, we represent the community. Sure. We don't dictate to the community what they want. We want to hold the town forums, have input from the homeowners to see what are the services that they're looking for. Is there an interest in a youth center, child care services, a restaurant? That's always a question. And we don't want to presume that we know what the homeowners. We want to carry out the mandate of the homeowners. So we'll be having a series of those town forums in the coming months with the long-term multi-clubhouse project, probably a year, to begin it maybe a year until you bring the architects and the decorators in. So we'll do short-term and then long-term, reflecting the needs of the homeowners.
Now, I think a lot of people, and we deal with clients coming to buy here or sell here that live in Heron Bay, and they're looking, that's the biggest thing, they want improvements. As any community that's 20 years old, it needs a facelift, as you say, now and then, big changes in the future. And I think all these things would be great for the community. The amenities are great, the HOA fees are very low for what you're getting, and I just think people want more, just like everybody else. They want more, and I think it's great that you're going to be implementing a lot of these changes, and for homeowners to come and see these public forums to engage and give their feelings and perspectives. Now, the talk of the town, as you know, it's something you don't have immediate, but you're here, so you see it, is due to the Heron Bay Golf Course closing for the summer. It's still closed right now, and now reopening. Do you see any problem arising that may lead to Sterling, who owns the Heron Bay Golf Club, selling the course and commercial new construction residential properties being built on the land any time in the future?
That's a fair question. So the first point I'd like to make is that although the golf course has the name Heron Bay, it has no affiliation whatsoever with the Heron Bay Community Association. It's across the street.
Sure.
And my understanding is the course closed over the summer due to drainage issues and so on. The company that runs the golf course had indicated that they will be reopening December 15th. That's pretty much solidified. I ride my bike on the golf course and I see it. They'll have the Dixie Amateur Tournament thereafter. But the longer term challenge that you present is significant, and it would be unacceptable, I believe, to the vast majority of homeowners in Heron Bay to see any development on that land. There is a short-term answer to your question in that there's a restrictive covenant that no development can take place on the land for an additional 8 or 9 years. But that time passes very quickly.
Correct.
So my belief is that we all need to be very proactive. We need to work with the golf course ownership, work with the other communities in Parkland and Coral Springs to try and put together a win-win situation where there's been rapid development in Parkland, new homes coming online every day. And if we could bring those communities together and work with the golf course to create a value proposition for the golf course that would have some kind of membership plans, I think we can create a scenario that would show that the golf course is not a loss leader, but rather can be profitable. Because they're not in it, it's not a philanthropic event, but it's an amenity that I think people could come to appreciate and help in the development of, as long as it's reasonably priced and in reasonably good condition. So there's every situation presents opportunity.
Yeah, that's a great location, and there's not much golf out here.
Well, effectively, it's the gateway to Parkland.
Correct. So you have a lot of opportunity. I mean, I remember watching the Honda Classic as a kid here, 20 years ago. So one of the things with all this improvement that's projected both soon and projected for any assessments for homeowners, in the immediate or in the coming years with these amendments.
And of course, and I think that's a very, very fair question. First of all, as a result of bringing on the new management company, it did not result in increase whatsoever in fees. We negotiated a reasonable management contract which had no financial impact on the community. The short-term we have the ability through reserves and the operating budget. We are not and will not be a buy-in community. So the idea of an assessment is counter to anything that we stand for. We also have a very fiscally prudent board that we're also homeowners. So we're not looking to have dramatic increases long-term in return for the amenities. We have to work with the community in a fiscally prudent way to give them the value proposition that they've all bought into Heron Bay. And when we talk about bringing Heron Bay to the next level, I don't mean to bring it to a new financial level where we're doubling of the maintenance fees. This has to be done, and any long-term plan that we will develop, we will bring to the homeowners for homeowner improvement. We don't mandate those kind of changes. We are reflective of the community. And one other point, Michael, I neglected to say it when you asked me the question about short-term changes. One of the things that we've done over the last year and will continue at a greater effort next year is to increase the number of events to cover all the demographics within Heron Bay. We've introduced child care for babysitting services. We have scheduled for 2019 75 events. Each of the events that we've had this past year have sold out, probably about 150 people per an event. covering everyone from the children, and the great joy is to go to the children's events and see the smiles on the faces of the kids, whether it's having Sundays before school starts, or we had the Thanksgiving holiday breakfast yesterday, and we have a very active empty nesters community and have their own events. So it's really working on the value proposition that when you buy a home and you live in Heron Bay, you're not in isolation. You're part of what we call the Heron Bay family. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about it.
No, I appreciate coming on. We thought about a lot of issues in many communities. It's not just here. There's issues in Parkland Golf and Country Club. A lot of homeowners, friends, I've sold many houses in there. They're really concerned that they're having big increases for association due increases next year, and they have a lot of the amenities that Heron Bay residents want. And I think if difference is we have a lot more homeowners here, and your budget is a little different. So I think this is something that's important. I sell a lot in Heron Bay. My family used to live in Heron Bay, and I think it's important. It's a great community. You have low HOA dues. You have amenities here that are amazing. The clubhouse is like a resort-style amenity clubhouse, and it's going to be improved. I mean, I remember going to weddings and bar mitzvahs here even as a kid. So it's a great place. I'm so happy that you could come on and answer some of our questions. If you guys have any other questions about Heron Bay, if you live here or if you're curious, if you're looking to live here and you just need to ask a question, I'd be happy to have Neil answer it on the string here on this video. And we really appreciate you watching tonight. This is very informational. I thank Neil for coming on, and I hope you guys have a great night with your family, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Ask Michael Monday. We will be interviewing Parkland Commissioner Bob Mayerson. So I'm excited to interview Bob. We interviewed Ken Cutler last week, so we will have Bob on next week. Thank you so much, and have a good evening with your family.